Hi guys, I'm Taylor Bria. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, I am a Christian and a crafter. I talk about crocheting, knitting, Jesus. Those are my passions, and I want to teach people about that. So today I really wanted to talk about quarantine and isolation. So I know a lot of people in a lot of states or different countries are still in quarantine. And I don't want people to be wasting their quarantine. So here's the story. This was 2 years ago, so before COVID-19. I was going to go to this Christian girl camp with my church, but I got sick and I couldn't go. So I was so devastated because I waited all year to go to this camp. I waited all year. I was saving money. Like, I earned all of the money that I used to pay for this camp, but it was totally last minute that I got sick, and I couldn't go. So I was really upset, and I actually prayed to God, just like, God, why didn't you let me go? And I later also said to God, God, I'm not gonna waste this time in lying on the couch. I'm gonna learn about you even if I don't go to camp. And that is what I did. I would be writing in my Dear God diary, and I would be reading the Bible. I read so much of the Bible during that time, and you would be surprised how much you can get done and reading, how much Bible reading you can get done lying on the couch. I was reading the book of Proverbs, and I was gaining so much knowledge and wisdom while I was doing that, reading the Bible, studying it. I would even pick verses out and write them down on a notebook and be writing them down and trying to memorize them. So I really want you guys to know that quarantine isn't useless, and not to waste your self-isolation. When I read a book for school, The Hiding Place, and Corrie ten Boom who's the main character in The Hiding Place. It's actually a real story, which I highly recommend, and it's a great book. And she was in prison, and she was in solitary confinement. I think that's the word they used in it, because she got sick, and they put her in there, and the nurse snuck her in for Gospels, and she read those Gospels while in prison, and didn't waste her isolation. She was praying, she was learning about God while reading those Gospels, and she was learning so much. And Paul, he didn't waste his time in prison. He was writing letters to the churches and teaching them what to do. And one time when Paul was in prison with Silas, they started praising God in the prison. They were singing hymns, spiritual songs, psalms. They were just singing to God in that time of imprisonment. So I really challenge you to not focus on the world. Actually, during quarantine, I stayed away from almost all social media. The only time I would go on social media was to contact friends and family or to post something about my business. So I challenge you to stay away from news. I stayed away from news the whole time because all it was doing was stressing me out. So I stayed away from news. I stayed away from social media. I was crocheting, praying, reading the Bible, and focusing on God. I did go on YouTube. That was probably where I spent most of my time. And I was discovering new Christian podcasts. I started watching Phil Robertson's podcast. If any of you guys like Duck Dynasty, great podcast to watch. I also started watching recently Sadie Robertson's podcast. Whoa, that's a good podcast. Great podcast to watch. And I discovered a few other Christian YouTubers, and it really gave me encouragement during that time. So I want to challenge you Don't waste your isolation. Pray to God and focus on Him. If you like that video, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I try to post every weekend, so make sure to stay tuned for those videos. Have a great day.